Today we are going to talk about lipoprotein and some of the basic introduction about the lipoproteins, and then slowly in the next few lectures we will talk about the metabolism of different lipoproteins. So first we will see what is lipoproteins. Lipoprotein is a biochemical assembly, means it is a combination of, as its name suggests, it is a lipid plus protein. So it is a combination of lipoprotein, means lipid plus protein. So this is a biochemical assembly. Assembly means association, which contains both protein and the lipid, which allow fat to move through the water inside the and outside cell. Normally, we know that lipids are the non-polar things, non-polar biochemical molecules. So lipid does not easily transport into the circulatory systems, and in our body circulatory system, blood is the major transportable medium by which most of the things are going to be transported. So lipids are not very easily be transported through the blood. So to make them lipids water soluble, to make lipids easily transportable, this is the combinations where lipid is going to be easily transported throughout the body by circulatory systems. So that's why we are having lipoproteins. The protein serves as the emulsifying the lipid, otherwise called fat molecules. So here the function of proteins is to make lipid water soluble, that is the process called emulsification or emulsifying. There are a number of enzymes, carrier molecules, transporter, structural proteins, antigens, adhesins, and toxins, which is transported through the lipoprotein combinations, lipoprotein forms. Because most of them are lipids, so they have to form in the lipoproteins, and then lipoprotein can be transported from one place to other place. This lipoprotein, if you see the structure, I will show you the structures. It contains neutral lipid core, which is mainly composed of triglycerides and cholesterol ester. Why cholesterol ester? Because in our body, in case of human body, cholesterols we store in the form of cholesterol ester. So that is esterified cholesterol normally we store. So most of the cholesterol which present in our body is in the form of esterified. So that's why we are having cholesterol ester or esterified cholesterol. So it consists of a neutral lipid core, which is consisting of triglyceride or cholesterol ester, and this core which is present in the center, it will be surrounded by coat cell of phospholipids, apoproteins, and the cholesterols. So inside the centers, inside the core, we are having cholesterols and triglyceride, and it will be covered with phospholipids, apoproteins, and the cholesterol. Now, what is apoprotein? Apoprotein is nothing, it is a proteinous component of lipoprotein. So we have seen lipoprotein is having lipids plus protein. So lipid we are having either triglycerides, cholesterol, cholesterol ester, or in the form of phospholipids. Proteins, whatever we are having, those proteins we are calling it apoproteins. So proteins will be towards the periphery, towards the environment. The polar portion of phospholipids. So we know the phospholipids is having both polar and non-polar. So phospholipids, the polar portion of phospholipids and cholesterol are exposed on the surface of lipoproteins to make them water soluble. The main purpose of lipoprotein was to make lipid soluble. So whenever we are having a covering, if you see the structures, this is phospholipids. This is phospholipid. So the polar portions, this head region you are going to see in the green color. So this is the polar portion of phospholipids. So this polar portion is exposed towards outside. This is environment where we are having blood circulations. This is the core, which is composed of cholesterol, cholesterol esters, and T means triglycerides. And these are different apoproteins. We have seen here it is designated by ApoE, ApoB, ApoA. So different type of apoproteins we are having. Now we are going to see the different type of apoprotein also. So this is called core. Core is composed of cholesterols and triglyceride cholesterol esters, and on the periphery it will be covered with different phospholipids, cholesterols, or apoproteins. This whole lipoproteins is a spherical structures. It is a ball-like structures where inside the ball in the center we are having this core, and outside we are having cholesterol, phospholipids, and apoproteins. Now, the main function, what is the function of lipoproteins? There are three basic functions of lipoproteins. So, first function is it makes lipids transportable. So, it is going to be transport lipid. That is the main function. Second function is it having hydrophilic group of phospholipids. Hydrophilic means water loving portions. Water loving portion means in phospholipid, just now we have seen the green color head region, that is hydrophilic portion of the phospholipids. So having hydrophilic group of phospholipids, cholesterol, and the apoproteins, which is directed outwards, and that makes them water soluble, water transportable. Triglyceride and the cholesterol esters are carried internally into the core. So at the center we have cholesterol and triglyceride, which is shielded from the water by the phospholipid monolayer or apoproteins. So in the center we are having two things, triglyceride or cholesterol esters. At the periphery, which is going to cover surface of the ball, we are having phospholipids, apoproteins, and cholesterol. The classification of lipoprotein on the basis of mainly the classification of lipoprotein is done on the basis of its density. So on the basis of density of lipoproteins, it is having five major classes, and that is also separated by the electrophoresis. So normally electrophoresis is also separated on the basis of charge by mass ratio. So first class is chylomicron. The chylomicron, it is synthesized in intestine and it transports exogenous dietary triglycerides to various tissue. Now we have seen the major function of lipoprotein is to transport lipid from one place to other place in our body. So that is the main function of lipoproteins. Now we are having in our body, we are having two sources of lipids. One is called as exogenous source, other one is called as endogenous source. Exogenous source, where we are taking lipids from the outside. The main route of lipid from outside is the dietary or through the GIT tract. So one place where we get lipid is our GIT tract. That is the main source, main organ which gets exogenous lipids are GIT tract. Second category of lipids was endogenous lipids, where lipids is synthesized inside our body, that is in the liver. So in our body we are having two regions where we get lipids. One is GIT tract, intestine, and second one is liver. So from both the places, from the intestine and from the liver, lipids has to be transported to the tissue, because tissue is the ultimate user of these lipids, these fats. So from intestine as well as from the liver, lipid has to transport it to the tissue. And for this lipid transportation, we are having various systems. Those systems are lipoproteins. So the first class, what we are talking about, the chylomicron. This chylomicrons synthesized into the intestine. So the synthesis of chylomicron occurs into the intestine, where lipids are mainly from the dietary lipids. So the dietary lipid is going to be converted into chylomicron and it will be transported to the tissue in the form of chylomicron. So chylomicron is the lipoproteins who is synthesized into the intestine GIT tract, and it transports exogenous dietary lipids. I have already told you we are having two sources of dietary lipids, exogenous lipids, GIT tract, endogenous lipids into the liver. So chylomicron transports exogenous lipids. This chylomicron consists of highest maximum quantity of lipid and the lowest quantity of proteins. So roughly 99% it is having lipids and the lowest percentage of protein. Size also will say this chylomicron is the least dense, having the lowest density. Lowest density means if anything is having less density, size will be larger. Though density will be more dense, it will be more compact, more tightly packed, and the structure will be less. So chylomicron is having the lowest density. Lowest density means its size will be the largest among all the 5 different classes of lipoproteins. Second class is VLDL, very low density lipoprotein. This is produced in liver and something in intestine. So mainly VLDL is produced inside the liver. So like chylomicron, we have seen it is synthesized in intestine. It transports exogenous lipids. VLDL is the lipoprotein which transports endogenously synthesized lipids. So all the lipids which is synthesized into the GIT into our body, that is in that liver, will be transported by this VLDL, and its density will be less than chylomicron. Third category is low density lipoprotein. So this is LDL in abbreviation we are calling it. It is formed from VLDL into the blood circulations. So VLDL has been synthesized into the GIT tract, into the liver, and from liver it will go to the blood circulation. Once VLDL come into the blood circulations, then VLDL will be converted into LDL. They transport cholesterol from liver to the other tissue. So it is the next step of VLDL. VLDL synthesis occurs into the liver, then come into the blood circulation. There it has been converted into the LDL, and LDL is going further to the tissue. Next, fourth class is high density lipoprotein, HDL. This is also synthesized in liver, and it mainly works as the reservoir of the apoproteins. So HDL works as a reservoir, a storehouse of all the apoproteins. They have different subfractions. So HDL1, HDL2, HDL3 are the other three different subfraction of high density lipoproteins, and it can be separated on the basis of ultracentrifugations. HDL participates in cholesterol transports from tissue to the liver. So normally, normal transport is from the tissue, from the origin to the tissue, to the user. Origin is either intestine or the liver. So normal lipid transport is from the liver or intestine to the tissue. This is called normal cholesterol, normal lipid transport. In the opposite way, if lipid is going to be, cholesterol is going to be transported from the tissue to the liver, to back to the liver. So that is just opposite direction. So it is called as reverse cholesterol transport. So the cholesterol transport from the intestine, from the tissue, that is a user, from the tissue to the back to the liver, is called as reverse cholesterol transports, and HDL helps in the reverse cholesterol transports. We will see when we will talk about HDL metabolic processes. That time we will see all these things, how they are going to involve in different processes. Then fifth is free fatty acid or albumin. Free fatty acids in the circulation are bound to the albumin, and each molecule of albumin can hold 20 to 30 molecules of free fatty acids. So that is fifth subfraction. This is two different pictures we are having. This is one picture, this is another pictures. Here we can see on the basis of percentage of lipids, proteins, their density, and its size. We have seen the size of chylomicron is the largest one, and the size of HDL, which is known as high density lipoprotein, so it is very dense and its size is very less. This chylomicron contains 99% lipids. Slowly, if you come from chylomicron towards HDL, the lipid content decreases. So 99% in chylomicron, 92% in VLDL, 85% in IDL. IDL is intermediary density lipoproteins. We will see that one also during the metabolic processes. 80% in LDL and 50% only in case of HDL. So the percentage of lipid decreases from chylomicron towards HDL. So as lipid decreases, its density increases because proteins is having little bit more weight. So as much as protein will be there, that much it is going to be denser, and it will be more compact. Its size will be that much smaller. So chylomicron is having only 1% of protein. Slowly protein concentration is going to increase. So in case of VLDL, 8% proteins. In case of IDL, 15% protein. In case of LDL, 20% protein. In case of HDL, 50% protein. I have told you if you are going to increase the protein content, its density increases. So if you see the density, chylomicron's density is less than 0.095, and the density of HDL is 1.063. So density increases from chylomicron to HDL. As density increases, its size decreases. So density is inversely proportional to size. If density will increase, size will decrease. This is one way of understanding different types of lipoproteins. If you are going to do the separation of this lipoprotein on the basis of electrophoresis, so we are doing electrophoresis, we are going to put the sample here and then do the electrophoresis. So depending on its size, lipoproteins will be separated into different subfractions. So HDL, which is having the lowest size, runs very fast and it will be on the top. It will run very fast. It will be farthest from the origin. And the chylomicron, which is having the largest size, it will be near the origin because it cannot move very fast. So chylomicron we are having different level. So chylomicron LDL is called as beta lipoprotein. So after chylomicron we are having beta LDL. Then we are having VLDL, which is beta lipoproteins, and then we are having HDL. This is alpha lipoproteins. Now you will have a questions why LDL is LDL moves less than the VLDL, because if you see the size of LDL, which is smaller than VLDL. So LDL should be here and VLDL should be here, because after chylomicron size is VLDL, then LDL, then HDL, but this movement is slightly different. The movement of electrophoresis, in the case of electrophoresis, is not only on the basis of size, it is especially on the basis of charge by mass ratio. So how much protein lipid content will be there and what will be its size, so both matters here. So that's why VLDL is means forward to the LDL. Now, this is just to remember you how you can remember it. If you see a cholesterol chylomicron is having highest triglycerides, and then other component is less. In case of VLDL, 50% triglyceride, other component will be roughly almost equal. If you see in case of HDL, protein and lipid is 50% to 50%. This is another way of classifying all the things. So already we have seen different classes of lipoproteins. So we are having chylomicron, we are having chylomicron, we are having VLDL, IDL, LDL, and HDL. Chylomicron at the origin in the electrophoresis. Then VLDL, which is called pre-beta, LDL is called beta, and HDL is called as alpha. So this is on the basis of density. Like chylomicron is having the lowest density and the largest size. This is size. So if you see the size and density, it is having the maximum density. HDL is having maximum density. Size is the smallest, and chylomicron is having lowest density, largest size. Protein already we have seen. Chylomicron is having maximum roughly 99% lipids and only 1% proteins. The major things which we should understand here is, in case of chylomicron, the major apoprotein means protein portion of the lipoprotein. So chylomicron contains these apoproteins. So in this one, B48 is the most important apoproteins or apolipoprotein. We are calling both the things, either apoprotein or apolipoprotein. So B48 exclusively present only in chylomicron, not anywhere else. Similarly, in case of VLDL, LDL, and IDL, B100 is the exclusive for VLDL and IDL and LDL. It does not present anywhere else. And HDL already I have told you, it is a major reservoir of, this will be 100, B100. So HDL is the reservoir of all the lipoproteins. So HDL is having maximum apolipoproteins, which we will see how it works as a reservoir in the metabolic processes. The function of apolipoprotein is, as it is a protein, so it helps in the assembly, formation of lipoproteins. It also holds the structural integrity of the lipoproteins. Sometimes these apoproteins behaves as an activator of different enzymes, which we are going to see just further. And sometimes it behaves as a receptor ligands. Like B48 and B100 is the receptor for the different ligands, which is present in liver and other places. So in case of chylomicron, we had first we are going to see two different ways how lipoproteins contains apoproteins. So first we will see on the basis of lipoproteins, sorry, and then we'll say on the basis of various apoproteins. So chylomicron, which contains B48 exclusively, the function of B48 is it helps in the assembly and packing of ingested means which we take from the outside, triglyceride and cholesterol, and provides structural supports. ApoE, which behaves as the ligand for LDL receptor. This LDL receptor is present in liver. We will see further. So liver is having LDL receptor. So this chylomicron behaves as ligand for LDL receptor. So if chylomicron has to go to the liver, so this apoprotein will bind to this LDL receptor on the liver and it will be intake. ApoC2 behaves as the enzyme activator, lipoprotein lipase activator, and C3 is inhibiting this LPL, lipoprotein lipase. So this chylomicron is having both activator as well as inhibitor. Chylomicron remnant. Chylomicron remnant means it is the remaining portion of chylomicron after the metabolic processes. This lipoprotein lipase, this chylomicron is having both triglyceride and cholesterols. Once lipoprotein lipase works on this chylomicron, the triglyceride will be metabolized and the remaining portion is chylomicron remnant. So chylomicron minus triglyceride is chylomicron remnant. Component will be the same. We have seen here, this is ApoE and B48 will be there. In case of VLDL, the most important factor, most important component is B100, which behaves as a structural integrity and ligand for cellular intake. It is also having ApoE, which is the ligand for LDL receptor similar to chylomicron. It is having C2 for LPL activator and C3 for LPL inhibitors. These are the multiple choice questions for you in various competitive exams. So you can remember it, especially those things which is in the bold. Chylomicron contains B48. Exclusively chylomicron is having B48. VLDL exclusively B100. Other than those exclusive apolipoprotein, it also contains C, E, C2, C3 and E. E is nothing, it is a ligand for LDL receptor. LDL receptor is present in liver. C2 activator of LPL, C3 inhibitor of LPL. Similarly, IDL intermediate density lipoprotein contains B100 and ApoE. Function will be the same. LDL contains B100, again same functions. HDL contains different because it is a reservoir, so it contains number of apolipoproteins and which is for the exchange. Exchange means it donates, it gives to chylomicron. VLDL means precursor VLDL, that is called nascent VLDL or nascent chylomicron gets apoprotein from the HDL and becomes mature. So liver synthesizes immature chylomicron, that is called as nascent chylomicron. Nascent chylomicron comes from intestine, gets some apoprotein from HDL and becomes mature, and that is called as maturation of chylomicron. Similarly, nascent VLDL coming from liver gets some apoprotein from the HDL in the circulations, get matured and becomes mature VLDL. So apoprotein B contains lipoprotein. ApoB containing lipoprotein, that is B48 and B100 containing lipoproteins are non-HDL, means chylomicron, VLDL, IDL and LDL. These are called as non-HDL lipoprotein. It helps in lipid delivery processes. Then ApoA containing lipoprotein, that is called HDL. So ApoA is normally present in HDL, which helps in reverse cholesterol transport. So I already have told you there are two kinds of lipid transport, one from origin, that is intestine and liver, to the tissue, that is called normal cholesterol transport. So normally non-HDL lipoproteins, that is chylomicron, VLDL, LDL and IDL helps in the normal lipid transport from intestine and liver to the tissue. HDL, which is helps in the transport of from the tissue to back to the liver, that is called as reverse cholesterol transport. This is the functions of different apolipoproteins and where it is going to be present. If you see ApoA1, it normally present in chylomicron and HDL. It is major protein of HDL and it is having antioxidant properties. So HDL normally we are going to call HDL is a good cholesterol. Why HDL is a good cholesterol? Because HDL contains a number of apoproteins which provides us good activities, good properties, good characteristic feature. One of the characteristic feature of HDL is it is having antioxidant behavior, antioxidant properties. So the antioxidant properties of HDL is because of this ApoA1. So ApoA1 provides antioxidant properties of HDL. Other than this one, it also activates LCAT. LCAT is lecithin cholesterol acyl transferase. So this enzyme LCAT, will see what is the function of LCAT. It helps in the transferring of acyl group and makes cholesterol esterification and activation. ApoA2, which is also present in chylomicron and HDL, it enhances lipase activity. ApoA4, present in chylomicron and HDL, it present in triglyceride rich lipoproteins synthesized in a small intestine. ApoA5 is present in only in HDL, it regulates plasma Tg level. Now B48, it present in chylomicron. I have told you B48 exclusively present only in the chylomicron and it found lacks HDL receptor binding domain of ApoB100. ApoB100 is present in VLDL, IDL and LDL. It binds to LDL receptor and it is longest known protein in case of human body. One of the largest protein, longest protein in terms of size. ApoC1 present in chylomicron, HDL, VLDL, C2, which is present in chylomicron, HDL, VLDL, IDL, and its main function is it activates lipoprotein lipase. The function of this lipoprotein lipase is during the metabolism of various lipoproteins. So every lipoproteins like chylomicron, VLDL, IDL, HDL, it contains triglycerides. So triglyceride is going to be metabolized by this lipoprotein lipase. So triglyceride metabolize and gives us glycerol and free fatty acids. Glycerol through circulation goes to liver for gluconeogenesis process, and the free fatty acid goes to the tissue for their utilizations. And once its function has been completed, it is going to be inactivated. So enzyme will be inactivated by C3. So ApoC3 is inhibiting lipoprotein lipase. Apoprotein D, which functions will be almost similar to LCAT and it is present in HDL. So apoprotein A1, C1 and apoprotein D is having almost similar activity. Then we are having another protein that is called as cholesterol ester transfer protein, CETP. It is mainly present in HDL and it also helps during the exchange of different kind of lipids. So we will see during HDL metabolism how CETP is going to help in the exchange. Then ApoE we are having that is present in different lipoproteins. It binds to LDL receptor. It is present in chylomicron, VLDL, IDL, LDL. ApoF, which is initially called as lipid transfer inhibitor proteins due to its ability to inhibit the activity of CETP. So this CETP, which is helping in the lipid exchange, was inhibited by this ApoF and it is present in LDL and sometimes LDL. ApoH, which is negatively charged surfaces, binds to beta-2 glycoproteins. ApoO, which express increases in case of obese persons. ApoM, its main function is it behaves as antioxidant and anti-atherosclerotic activity. It is present in HDL. So again, HDL is having a good active. HDL behaves as a good activity because it is having antioxidant properties and anti-thrombotic activity, anti-atherosclerotic activity. And then last is apoprotein A, which only present in LDL. This apoprotein A is having a disulfide bond with apoprotein B100. We have seen apo B100 was exclusively present in VLDL, IDL, LDL. So this A binds with apo A100 with disulfide bond. Sometimes this apo A is also called as lipoprotein A or LPA. The function of this apo A is like serine protease. Protease means it is going to do degrade the proteins. It inhibits tissue type plasminogen activator 1 TPA1, which structurally resembles with plasminogen only. So these are the different function of apoproteins. We have seen the structure of different type of lipoproteins, their component, their compositions, and their functions of lipoproteins, apoproteins, and different functions. So that's all for today. Hope you understand it. In the next lectures, we will talk about the metabolic process, metabolism of different lipoproteins. So one by one, we will see chylomicron, VLDL, and LDL. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.